Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do the flight review for this brand new XK Q868 foldable brushless GPS drone with a little 2-axis, well, it says 4K camera, but it really is more like 2.5K on video. Now, I've not done any flights with this. I usually do flights ahead of time under the circumstances, along with the weather being poor lately. This is going to be a maiden flight, so we'll see how this goes. I don't particularly like to do maiden flights because there's sometimes so many unexpected things that it makes it difficult to do a good thorough review, at least for me. But we'll see how it does today. So the battery is fully charged. I noticed while charging it, the blue light just kept blinking in the last light, and it was plugged in for several hours. So I don't know what's up with that. It should be fully charged. So we'll get it up in the air here. We'll power it on. We'll do the compass calibration and a gyro calibration, and then get into the app here, which I did put a screenshot in the table review of what this app is. It's the WL Toys. Let me go back to the, I'll set it down here and tell you guys the name of the app again. Let's set the drone down on the ground. And the app is the WL GPS app. So go ahead and go back into that. And then we'll get this powered up here and we'll get it. Actually, we'll need to connect to the Wi-Fi first before we even get into the app. So let's go ahead and I'm going to press the power button and we'll set it down so it can do its calibration. So let's get it down here on the ground again. I'm going to press and hold it on the button. And you hear the ESC's beep. You guys aren't going to be able to see that until I back up. Go ahead and press the power on the controller. And then you do your bind sequence up and down. It should be bound. You've got a rear blinking light now doing red and green. And I know that it mentions in the manual, doing the compass calibration, but it doesn't necessarily say it'll go right into it. So we will have to see here in just a second. Let's go ahead and before we do anything, let's go into my phone's settings. Let's go to our network internet and see if we can find that drone Wi-Fi. It should show up here in the list in a second. I'm sure it's going to be this Wi-Fi 4K GPS 248A E0. Yours may be slightly different. Go ahead and connect to that. That should be a 5G connection. So 5 gigahertz spectrum Wi-Fi. And then we'll go into that WL GPS app. Let's go ahead and once we get in here, I'm going to start my screen recording so you guys can see. So I'm going to click start flying, and then my mobile's going to flip over here. Let's go ahead and start our screen recording so you guys can see now. Now you should be seeing on the screen recording here, if I remember to put it up at this point. And we'll see everything that's in the app. As we can see, we've got the Wi-Fi video feed up on here. Now, the instruction manual says to do the compass calibration, you long press the mode button here. So it may already be in the mode. Let's go ahead and do it. Now you can also go into the gear section here, and it says calibrate accelerometer, which is your gyros, and calibrate the magnetometer, and that's your compass. So I'm going to go ahead and just try the manual way. So let's do a long press, and that should be in compass calibration mode, I think. And I got a solid red light in the back. Let's go ahead, and it says to do a rotation. Now the lights are all solid, so I don't know. If this doesn't work, we'll try it from the app. And you rotate it around. I'm not seeing any difference. So let's go ahead and try it from the app. And oh wait, it does show it on the app now. It is showing it on the app. Forgive me. It's saying to do this. I don't know how long you got to do it now. Yeah, it's still showing that. Let's try if I can get out of that, because I'm going to get dizzy spinning around here in circles a bunch. Let's see if I can get out of that. Oh, back to the main screen. Let's go back again. Yeah, it's still saying to calibrate. Let's try just spinning it like this, because it tells you now. It says put it on its side. That's odd. The instruction manual shows putting it nose down. Let's see if this completes. Now it said it completed. Lots of times these will say to do a spin in a circle. You don't have to usually. You can just spin it on its axis in your hands, especially if you're like me and you get dizzy easy from spinning in circles. That supposedly completed. Let's go in here and just go and try it through the app once again, just to be sure. So click that. And now it's going to say it again, just like when we press the button. And let's put the, let's just try it this way again and see if that wants to complete. Doing it just in my hand. Yeah, it's not. Now it's saying, and I think what it means, and the diagram shows it on its side, but the instruction manual says upside down, nose down. Yeah, now it completed. So it completed both times, but I like to be safe because I it was not wanting to complete spinning in circles myself. So you can just spin the aircraft in your hands. You don't have to do it in circles like I did. Either way will work. And the button on the controller or on the app will work as well. All right, so that should be calibrated. To do the gyro or accelerometer, it's both sticks down to the left. That's what it says. Though I'm not seeing it do anything here. Let's try down to the right. Sometimes I get that mixed up. Oh well, it should be fine, but it does say in the instruction manual it's both sticks down to the left. Let's try it in the app then, since it's not. Let's do accelerometer. It says over limit. Now it did it. So you know what? For some reason the sticks wasn't working. Hopefully the controller should be bound because we were able to start it through the button here. Now let's go ahead and see if we can start before we take off here. If we can start recording some video. That should be a long press here on the, and there we go, on the photo button. And you can rotate, you can tilt the gimbal, as you guys can see there, with the little dial. That did look a little jerkier than I seem to call it would be. And let's go ahead and let's take off. So I think the takeoff button was this top left button, and there it's spinning. And then let's see, I think you have to just give it throttle. That jarred it up in the air pretty quick. Let's see how stable it is. And it's a very calm day. Let's give it a little yaw. That's nice. Looking at the video, it's drifting a little on me there. Let's make sure. Give it some yaw. There we go. It's drifting a little bit when I'm doing my yaw spins. We've got full signal strength. Looks like we have maybe 9 satellites. That's not like a ton. I think that will increase as we get it up in the air. But yeah, as I'm giving it, let's make sure that we are in GPS mode. That's manual. The yellow light one, so that's just altitude hold. And that will drift. And then press this button again, and now we should be back into GPS mode. Yeah, that's not too bad. See how it's kind of drifting as I'm giving it yaw? That's a little goofy. It should just spin on its axis. You shouldn't get any drift. That's a bit unusual. And I don't think that's a GPS issue. I think that could just be these sticks on the controller are giving it a little bit of roll or pitch input. See, watch as it's going to start going around. Look at that. That should not do that. Not a huge deal, but if you're trying to spin and film, you're not going to want it to do that. Let's try giving it right, y'all, and see if it does that with the right. Yeah, see, look at that. It's not a lot, but when you fly the higher end drones, you'll notice that stuff. Anyway, enough jibber jabbering on that. Let's just see how the video looks. I'm just going to gently fly over this way. Just kind of low. We'll turn it. So far the gimbal looks pretty good. There's a little lag in the video feed, but you expect that. But it does look to me like we've got gimbal tilt, I think, which is something I was worried about because of the way I saw it on the ground. Let's aim it over at me. Let's tilt the gimbal down some. Yeah, see, like I mentioned in the table, it's very fast. Look how fast that tilt is. And it is a little, I told you guys I thought it'd be pretty smooth. It looks jerky. I didn't think it'd be quite that jerky because it looks very smooth tilting on my table. It's a pretty stable flyer, but we're not finding any wind at all, so that's going to make it a little harder to tell. Take it up a little higher and turn it around there a little bit. Let's tilt it down to the ground. Let's tilt it back up. Yeah, it's really quick. And there's nothing in the instruction, the app to adjust the gimbal pitch. But yeah, it's just kind of, it does move whenever you are giving it yaw, and it should just stay stationary. Let's take it a little higher. But it flies pretty nice otherwise, at least so far. I'll just yaw a little. See, as I'm yawing up there, guys, it's just doing a small circle, and it should not do that. It should spin on its yaw axis. Again, that to me is not a big deal, but it's not right. Even a toy drone would spin on its yaw axis and not move around. Okay, so let's there's different speed rates. Let's see which rate we're in here. We should be in the first rate. This little dial on the side, that's the middle rate. And then there's the highest rate. You can see the way it really moves. This would be a good test on the gimbal. I would not fly this in those higher rates unless you got to book it back home. I'm gonna go back. Even the lowest rates moves pretty good. I would stick with that lowest rate for most of your filming needs. It's gonna be easier on that gimbal. Let's just fly this out a little bit here. Let's move it over here so I can don't run into those trees. This isn't the best place to fly, guys, but it's all I got to be able to do today. So let's move it to the left. We'll fly it down the street a little bit here. Let's just take it up higher so we don't have to worry about those tree limbs. Oh yeah, trees look really pretty in the neighborhood. Let's try to get it up in here. I'm not getting the video says it's recording, but I'm getting no time. Let's try long. I'm gonna stop the video and start it. If we didn't get video there, I'm gonna start it again. Now I'm getting a timer. I don't know what happened there. Now I'm getting a timer on the video. So hopefully, if I just include the screen recording at first, it's because I'm not so sure it's recording to the SD card originally. The icon lit up, but I don't see any. Let's look up at the horizon now and see if we see. Ooh, I went down. Sorry, guys. See how that looks. I still have a nice solid video feed. It's a little herky-jerky as you expect. Let's turn it now. Yeah, the Wi-Fi is really getting laggy. There we can see it's starting to break out. Now I am going through a lot of trees and stuff. So even though I am only out, it says I'm only out 40 feet, that can't be possibly right. I'm beyond that. But it's not, it is breaking up is what I'm trying to get at. So I mean, that's because of these trees. Let's fly it back over here. See if I can figure out where I am. I look back down a little bit. And let's yaw so I can try to locate where I'm at. I think I'm facing away from us. I'm not real familiar with this neighborhood, guys, so there we go. Aim it back up a little bit. Sorry, this is not the best flight review. But yeah, I can see, look at that horizon. That's terrible. But when you film down with these drones, you can get by with some of that tilt at times. But what I'm wondering about is there any jello? It looks to me like there could be some wobble in this video. It doesn't look bad. I just don't know how the gimbal's performing overall, besides the fact that I was very worried, and there's the drone there, that we were gonna have some crooked horizon, and that's absolutely what we have. It just seems like these toy or lower end drones, they can just not get these gimbals to work well in terms of horizons. They always I don't understand that. It just needs to level back to position that it was at takeoff. Let's go ahead and do return to home from right there. I know let's back it up a little bit. I know it's not ideal, but I don't, in the app settings, it has a, beginner mode, which I have turned off, but I don't see anything in here for, and the mode you can set if you want to fly by the app too. I don't see anything for about return to to home height or anything. So I don't know what that's set to. If I take it out of ways, I'm afraid it might fly into this big tree as it tries to come back. I don't see, most of them give you an option to raise that height. So let's just press the return to home. And let's see how it does. It'll fly up overhead here. And then it should come down here and sit on the edge of these rocks. It's up overhead. I'm sure I can correct it as it comes down. I'm gonna back up some more. It really looks like it's, here it comes. Let's film straight down. There you are, guys. It's hauling butt down. Let's go back up. Let's see how close. It's gonna be off, but it's okay. But it's gonna be off by a good 10, 12 feet. That's a nice return landing, but again, we took off over in this low spot here. And again, that's off a good 10 feet or so, which is more than you would like to see. All right, so we are getting onboard video recorded now. I don't know if we originally got any, so I'll make sure I include that now. I'm trying to see what this does, this little lever. Yeah, that looks like that lets you tilt the gimbal inside the app. All right, let's go ahead and let's take it up again. Let's see if I can take off manually. Yeah, both sticks down and in. Just give it some throttle. Well, it really jets off the ground with the throttle. What I'm gonna do now is let's kind of like just do some gimbal testing here. Let's just go back and forth, wobble it. This is a good way of testing the gimbal. Let's just test that and see. Let's rock it. Gimbal seems to be doing okay right there in the preview, but again, that can be misleading. We're just looking at the preview. And I don't know in here, I did not see follow me or circle me here in the app. I'm gonna click on it. You do have some camera options for a single snap, multiple, or a delay. That's kind of cool for photos, but of course that does not have any impact on video. And this is your on screen for your joystick, so you want to fly with the app. Over here you've got, oh, here we go. All right, here's circle me and follow me. I thought that was in there, but I wasn't seeing it in the app. Let's try to see if we can do a little follow me. I know this area here is not really ideal for that. Let's bring it in closer. Let's actually move it over here. Again, I know this is not ideal, guys. I don't have a lot of open areas here where I'm currently at to do this stuff. I'll be in the new house around Christmas, and there's a ton of field and areas around there. Let's press the follow me, and let's see if it does. Oh, geez, I don't know what oh, Jesus. It took off and flew into the house. Oh boy, let's see if I can. Oh, it's upside down. Wonderful. Wow, that was weird. All right, guys, I'll have to try to get this down, but my goodness, I just took off and flew into the top of the house. When I told it to follow me, I'm standing right here. That should not have done that. I wonder, somebody told me that they had, someone's drone took off, the WL Toys, this one took off into a tree. I don't know who that was, but I wonder if they were testing the follow me, because that was nuts. I was just trying to keep it from hitting the trees. All right, guys, I'll try to get that down, and then we'll see if we can continue the review or not. But boy, that was not a good sign. So it's up on the roof. I'll be back if I can get it, guys. All right, be right back. All right, guys, so I got it down from the roof. Wasn't too hard to get down, but the drone is certainly damaged. It's no longer a safe drone to fly. So that's going to end this review. Yes, I know that I was not flying in a very good spot. I'm sure I'm going to get people and hate. Unfortunately, this is kind of what I got. It's not like I'm the only channel to ever fly something from my house. You know, Ryan used to fly everything out his front door over the street, so it's not like I'm the only one to do it. But as soon as I pressed the follow me, it turned around and it just darted off this way. I had to try to correct it some, and I flew it into the roof, so I didn't end up caught up in the tree. Anyway, what's wrong with it now, as you can see, the gimbal is hosed. It will sometimes level out, but it spazzes around. It just doesn't stay level. It was already bad enough before I wrecked it, but you can see some damage here. Hitting this obviously did something to the roll motor. You see it tries to sort of correct. I can sometimes get the pitch to work on the camera, and the drone just doesn't. It took me a long time. I finally got it to unlock and take off. I had a damaged prop up here that I replaced, but now I see the motor's leveled now. It should self level. See, look, it's doing nothing. So the gimbal is damaged. But when I took off and flew it around, the gimbal was doing that. It's spazzing out. And then as I flew it, I was just trying to test some features, and I had trouble getting the app to want to say it's connected to the drone. And then the controller does work, but not every function will work. The controller will no longer let me switch from GPS to altitude hold mode. And then when I landed it, it wouldn't sense the ground. It just kept spinning the motors. I finally had to do an emergency motor kill on the controller to actually get this drone to turn off. It was just really weird. Like, you know, the first time I took off, you know, I was able to get it to land by pressing there was an emergency motor kill in the app, but the next time the app no longer was giving me that option. So I was able to do it with the controller. So after the crash, the drone just doesn't fly right. Not every feature's working correctly with the app or the controller, and the gimbal's all hosed up, as you guys can see. So, you know, I would have to say a hard pass on this. It's just very erratic. You know, from the yaw doing this, it's almost like you're doing funnels. The yaw doesn't turn right on its axis. It does a small circle, and that's not right. The gimbal does not hold level horizon well at all. In fact, it's quite bad at times. And then, you know, the follow me just took off. I mean, that was absolutely crazy. It should have been flying towards me, the GPS on my phone. It turned around and was going to fly off from me. I did, as you guys saw at the beginning, I did 2 compass calibrations, so I know it was calibrated correctly. Yeah, it's just a piece of junk. Sort of what I expected. I didn't have high expectations for this drone. I thought it would fly okay. I just thought that the gimbal would be crooked, which it was. But it didn't fly. I mean, it flew okay when I was flying it. The only real complaint early on was that funneling when it was yawing. But then the way it flew and crashed, and then of course now it just is terrible. Yeah, I gotta say pass. There's just better options, you know. For 150, 160, buy the Bugs 20. It flies great. It's got EIS is stabilized. It works really well. It shoots true 4K. This is only 2.5 at 25 frames per second. But I did get it back, so I got my good SD card recovered, and I'll include everything in, you know, the footage. We'll see how the gimbal works. I think the gimbal was going to be okay in terms of stability. I don't know how much jello is in the video, so we would know that by now in this video. But the crooked horizon, if it's just slight at times, you can deal with that. But it was so bad at times, pre-crash, that it's just unacceptable. So I got to pass on this one, guys. I'll put some recommendations in the video description, such as the Bugs 20. Probably the Bugs 12 that's come out has EIS. It should be very similar to the Bugs 20. Or the Eachine EX4, which actually works pretty good. It does have a minor amount of jello, but that one, the gimbal, at least works pretty good. It flies nice. It's a much better option than this. You know, WL Toys, this is supposed to be their premier brand, XK, and this is just more junk. It's just really unfortunate. All right, guys, that wraps up the review of the XK Q868. It's a hard pass for me. Maybe someone else will have a better experience than myself. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you know when I do upload new videos. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day.